think, yeah, I think they're back, or he's back with, yeah, back to his mom's grave. I just have to get over to her dad and hope it's not too late. You know, how awful would it be for him to lose both his brother and his dad in rapid succession? That would just be terrible. This kid would be like, they'd have to send him to a mental institution. Poor thing. Looks like there's still a light. That might be a good sign, maybe. Means that whoever's taking care of our father is still awake, which means if our father was dead, he wouldn't bother staying awake to help him, right? So I think the light in the shack is a good thing. Come on. Why did it have to rain? He's crying. Oh, poor guy. It feels so empty now, playing with only one brother. You know, you've played through the entire game for mostly through the entire game with two people, and now that you're playing with only one, it just feels so. The water still, he still can't cross. He needs his brother. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's Mom. She's telling him he has to get over his fear of the water. The feels, guys, the feels. You still have your water. You still have a job to do. You gotta finish what you... Otherwise, the death of your brother is gonna be in vain, bro. You gotta do this. You gotta do it for your brother. Because otherwise, everything you guys did together was in vain. Come on, you can do this. Apparently he's not gonna do this. Alright, never mind then. All of that just to not go into the water. Okay, wait, well, I don't know what I'm doing then. What am I doing? Alright, come on. Into the water. Swim. What am I supposed to do? He's not going in. I was like, wow, this was pretty anticlimactic. Here I was thinking he was gonna, you know, thinking he was going to face his fears, and he's like, nope, nope, not gonna do it. Shaking his head, nope. Is there another way? I don't think there's another way. No. Yeah, because I can't go this way. There's nothing to go this way. And this doesn't take me anywhere. All I can do is shake my head and cry. That's the only thing I can do in the water. I don't have my older brother to point to where I'm supposed to be going. Oh. I was supposed to use spacebar, which is my brother's... I had to use my brother's side of the keyboard. That's what it was. Interesting. Okay, I didn't realize that. So I basically pretend that my brother was still here. Gotcha. All right. Good. I'm proud of you. Good job. Oh no, I remember this part. Gotta do it, bro. Okay, that's really cool. So again, I wasn't able to pull this lever when I was just using. Here's what's going on, because you guys can't see it. I wasn't able to pull this lever with just the controls that I was using for the younger brother. I had to use the controls of the older brother as well, you know, and that was how I was able to swim. Like, it wasn't until I started using the controls that I was using for the older brother, along with the controls of the younger brother, that I was able to get him to swim across the stream, which I find really symbolic. That's really clever, because I think it kind of implies to the player that his brother's still with him, you know, and even though he's not physically there, there's a part of his brother that's still with him at all times and is helping him with all of the challenges that he has to face. So I'm assuming I'm not going to be able to make it up there. Yeah. But if I start using my brother's controller, the older brother's controls, he can make it. Come on, make it. Yes. Oh, that is really cool. That is really awesome how they did that. Oh, game, this is so clever. I would not have thought about that until I started using the other. Wow, bravo. And once you do figure it out, you're like, oh, I get it. Oh, gosh. Clever games. This, again, just when I thought the game couldn't surprise me, it surprises me again, even at the very end of this thing. He made it. He made it. He saved his dad. I'm sure his brother's proud of him. Wow. Just wow. Skipping stones. I'm sure his dad's probably taking the loss of his son pretty badly too. See, it looks like such a nice day, but on the inside he feels so empty, I'm sure. I mean, it's gonna take some time to heal, but you never completely recover from the loss of a sibling, of a brother, especially one that was that close to you. You know? It's probably like his mom's favorite flower or something. Oh, Dad. So I'm still trying, you know, using the older brother's controls, even though it's not really doing anything. It's just force of habit. Oh, there's the two graves. Oh no. Wow. This is where we began the game, and this is where we end it. Oh my gosh. Oh, jeez. The music's not helping either. Oh. Oh. Sorry, Dad. Wow. Wow. Is all I have to say. Oh my gosh. That was... Oh jeez. I still have chills. I still have chills, guys. That was an amazing game. Like... So many great things about this game. One... You know, the puzzles in and of themselves were fun. Like, trying to figure out what you needed to do in order to get these two brothers to work together to solve a challenge was just great. And each of the puzzles were different. That's what I loved. You weren't just doing the exact same thing over and over again all the time. There would be these different nuances, and, you know, there were just so many spots when I thought that the game would not bring anything new to the table. It upped the bar, and that was one of the things that I was so amazed by all throughout. I really love how the characters are talking in a language. I think it's a completely made-up language, so no, it's very universal. So it's has very similar feel in that sense, like Journey did. I love that because you didn't need to understand the dialogue to appreciate the story, to appreciate the plot. Like, you got it, you get it, you could hear it in the voice of the voice actors, and even though, you know, the facial expressions weren't as great as other games like in Heavy Rain or in Beyond Two Souls or in other games like that, you still felt the joy during the joy. You still felt the grief during the grief. Oh gosh, and this music, oh, that really sets the tune. I love this game. This was amazing. An amazing experience. Thank you again to Levitrius Hampton and Kendrick for recommending this. I loved it, and the story was just so tragic. And even though it was so sad, I still loved it because they really set it up. They really set up the bond that these brothers shared. Like, they really, even though this is more of a puzzle adventure game than anything else, you still gained an attachment between these two boys, these two sons, and had a huge appreciation for the love and the bond that they shared as they were going on this adventure to try to save their family. And they could have easily made it so that the brother like magically like ended up living in the end, like, you know, maybe, you know, something very, very Hollywood where, you know, it would look like the antidote or the water of life or whatever you want to call it, the spring of life didn't work, and then, you know, the little brother would start crying, and then as his tears like ran down his brother's wound, like magically it healed. They could have done that, but they didn't. And you know what? I actually prefer that they didn't do that, because it just made the whole story so much more meaningful. It made the brother's life more meaningful, and I guess and made his death obviously more meaningful. But it just showed the sacrifice that these two brothers had to give in order to save their father. That's how much they loved their father and their family, and they would fight. You know, the fact that these two brothers knew that they could die at any moment, but they were willing to give their lives not only for their father, but for each other. And it was just, I almost broke down crying. I wasn't keeping myself from breaking down crying, but it was close. You know, I was not, you know me guys, I'm not shy about sharing my emotions, so I don't hold back. But I was, you know, very close to just breaking down crying at the end, because it was just such a pulled at my heartstrings, the feels. But yeah, I mean, the soundtrack was great, the story was amazing, the ingenuity in the puzzles, the gameplay was just so unique, and, you know, This game is a masterpiece. It's so short and sweet, and just looking at this intro screen again with the poor little brother like at his mom's grave, just that image is just gonna haunt me, because I can see what's in store for him, and him having to go through this all over again with his older brother. But yeah, the reveal of, I guess, the final boss, so to speak, the reveal of the girl, I knew something was up with her when she just hopped across that gap, you know, and how strong she was, you know, like, something was up with her, and I just didn't pick the signs. And, you know, the boy just got really attached to her, and then looking back on it, how the little brother was trying to, you know, convince his brother, no, we should go this way, and the older brother was like, no, it's okay, we'll go down. And had he just listened to his younger brother, maybe the older brother would have survived, but then the story would not have been as impactful. It would not have been as impactful if that's what happened. And, you know, the tragedy would not have been as great if you know, you didn't think, oh, if only he had done this, then he would still be alive. I love how they show you during your journey, they bring you into these really interesting, like, scenes. Like, for example, the graveyard scene with all of the giants, and I mean, that one especially made you want, and the frozen village, and the random, you know, invisible troll. Like, those are all things where you kind of wonder, what happened here? Like, what is the story behind this place? What is the story behind this world? It just makes you, it just intrigues you, you know. And that's what's really impressive, is that they could have easily just made this, you know, a puzzle game, but they made it into a puzzle game plus a game with a really awesome story, a very, like, emotional story. And then along the way, not only do they bring you to these, like, really graphically pleasant and interesting and picturesque places, but they imply a story behind these places that they don't explain. And I like that they don't explain it, because I think it makes it's great for the player to sort of make their own interpretations of what is going on in these locales, and it's up for discussion. I mean, I would love to be able to discuss with you guys, like, what exactly is the story behind this universe, and who all these trolls and giants are, and, you know, how the troll became invisible and things like that. Like, so many great things about this game. I just can't, wow. Such a great experience. Amazing experience. I definitely would recommend this game. Oh yeah, definitely recommend this game. It's so fun. And so symbolic. The gameplay. This is the first time in a game where the gameplay was that symbolic. Like I said, like at the very end when I couldn't get the little brother to do specific things until I started applying the controls of the older brother. Because once I did that, the younger brother was able to do it. Because, like I said, it's like the older brother is there with him, helping him through to help him through to do what he needs to get done to save their dad. And that, when the game is able to do that sort of symbolism in the gameplay, that is incredibly impressive. Given the circumstances of the ending of this game, I feel like I should explain to you the story that I started to tell earlier in this game about why I don't know how to swim. Because I think it definitely applies to what we just saw in this game. This is a true story about my family, and well, I'm just gonna tell it. So, my dad and my uncle were fairly close, and my grandfather, his dad, their father was quite strict. And my dad was always the kind of person who always, he was a very good kid. He always obeyed what his parents told him to do without any question. And it just so happened that I think his younger brother ended up his younger brother essentially got in trouble, and grandfather said that he wasn't allowed to leave the house, essentially. This is probably back when they were, I want to say they were in their late teens. Yeah, I think they were like in their late teens. And my uncle, my dad's younger brother, really wanted to go out, even though they weren't supposed to. He wanted to go out and go swimming in the lake, and begged and pleaded my dad, to take him, like to go with him, so they could go swimming together. And obviously, my dad, being the very obedient kid that he was, at first, said no, we shouldn't, we can't, you're in trouble, blah blah blah. But finally, he was basically swayed to go and do it. So they snuck out of the house and they went to the lake and they went swimming. After a little bit, my uncle went missing. All of a sudden, my dad couldn't find him anywhere. And so my dad ran back to the house, and the entire village, this is in the Philippines, by the way, this happened in the Philippines, went looking for him, went looking for his younger brother. And they found him at the bottom of the lake. He had drowned. He apparently, I think his foot got caught on something, and he never made it back up to the surface. So I unfortunately never got to meet my uncle. And it scarred my dad so badly. Like, just, even though, like I said, I wasn't a witness to this, I never got to know my uncle, unfortunately, but just hearing that story when my mom finally told me about it, when I was older, just broke my heart. Like, I knew that my uncle had drowned. I just didn't understand or know what the circumstances were. And it haunts my dad to this day. I can tell that he blames himself, because the one time that he disobeyed his father, the one time, normally being such an obedient kid, it cost his younger brother's life. And because of that, my dad has been deathly afraid of the water. Like, he knows how to swim, but he has trouble, going into a pool, going out into the ocean, going even on a boat. He doesn't even like getting on boats or little cruise ships, because it reminds him of what happened with his brother. And I think to this day my dad still blames himself for it. And so therefore my family just never went to the beach, we never went to the pool, and therefore my own brother and I never officially learned how to swim, because growing up it just wasn't something that our family did. And that was such a tragic story, and now that I've played through this game, it sort of reminds me of that, and it really helps to appreciate my brother as well. Like, sometimes I feel like I take my relationship with my brother for granted, and the experience of this game just really opened my eyes to just really appreciate what I have with my brother, relationship-wise. Like, we definitely bickered a lot. Like, we definitely got into a lot of fights when we were younger, and then as we grew older, we became a lot closer and a lot cooler with each other. And I don't know, like, I just can't, just playing this game, I just realize how much I do love my brother, as much as I hate to, I don't know if I would be able to admit it to his face. I guess, I mean, yeah, I can admit to his face, it's just, we don't, that's just not the type of relationship we have, like, we don't really talk about deep things like that to each other, and maybe for some of you that's not really all that deep, but you know, it's just my relationship that I have with my brother is unique, but I think that we do understand that we do care about each other and how much we do love each other, and this game, like I said, just makes me really appreciate him and all that. So I have that to thank. The game, I mean, to thank for that. Oh, beautiful game, beautiful game. All right, anyway, guys, I'm done talking. So thank you so much for joining me in this playthrough. This was incredible, and I hope those of you who have never played this game thought that this was an incredible journey as well, as much as I did. It's still worth, I think, owning if you've just seen this LP and you don't own the game. I think it's worth owning, and I definitely am going to tell a lot of my friends about this, because this is one of those gems that I haven't really heard much about at all, and it's just incredible what indie games are coming out. So many games that fall through the cracks that don't get the hype and don't reach the popularity that I think that they deserve, but this is truly a masterpiece. So thank you so much for the programmers who developed this game. It's amazing. Worth it, worth it, worth it, worth it. For that kind of experience, heck yes, worth it. So, alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you will enjoy whatever LPs I come next in the near future. So until then, folks, love yourselves and love each other. Rest in peace, big bro. Rest in peace, big bro.